Yes guys, Jess here, back with another video. You read the title. This is my final warning. We're about to have a massive week. If you look at the Bitcoin price, we're hitting key levels and I have a lot of charts prepared for you guys. You know, it's a big news week. You can see that we have a lot of USD news. We have the FOMC statement, press conference, federal funds rate as well. We have Wallace speaking on Friday. Also, we have unemployment claims. And of course, we have PMI tomorrow. So we need to be looking at all the relevant scenarios that's likely to be happening. We need to be seeing what's been going on with the global liquidity as well, as I have a new chart for you guys. And of course, make sure to be smashing up that like button before we get towards that analysis. Let's try to get above 15 likes. That'll be absolutely insane. And with that being said, let's get straight away in towards this banger. Bow. Oh, looking at the Bitcoin price, you can see that we've come in towards this range quarter. And I have a few price points actually marked out. So if we actually hold this level, so after breaking above this major mid-range, we actually held that level and we started to move towards the upside, and we can see that momentum is starting to slow, which has led to a short-term pullback, like in a very small time frames. We are trading in the weekend as well, so of course consolidation in and around the 96.8k level is very likely, as highlighted here by Mr. Crypto. So yeah, there is a possibility that we do start to bounce and fill that gap, but again, if we do lose this level here, then I think the next level that we should be watching is 91.7 or the 92k level. If you were to round up, that's a very key level. That was where you previously had a lot of reactions. This was where we were held previous support back in December. So I think that this is gonna, hold up if we actually come in towards this level, and then that's where we can actually start to establish a base before we actually start to potentially take out our all-time highs. Now, if we do deviate that level and we start to come down to maybe fill this inefficiency and of course retest previous support, you can see this has been a very key inflection point. Then of course any reclaims, and that's where you're going to be looking for that massive move towards the upside. So keep an eye out for the 88s as well. So that's 88,800. That's another key level where you want to kind of maybe set your invalidation just a little bit below if you want to be taking a position, and then actually just taking your trade in towards 92. I think that's a solid region where you could be getting back into the market if you haven't already. But again, we've been highlighting that this level here was the deviation. In the channel, I said that this was likely the bottom for Bitcoin, and that's exactly what's been happening. Now we need to be seeing if this is the top for Bitcoin. We had a video not too long ago, so about the one before the last one, and I suggest you guys actually check that video out. If you go towards my channel and you look at this video here, so you can see flashing Bitcoin signal, sell in May. You definitely want to watch that video, because I went through if we're in a bull market or a bear market, every single indicator, bullish and bearish, that you can think of. I covered it all in this video under 20 minutes, and it's a jam-packed video. I've covered absolutely everything, so you want to be watching that. And one of the key things I said was we started pumping off of low volume, and of course you can see that we've come in towards our 6.5 618 golden Fibonacci retracement level and our point of control, and that's where we're starting to experience some slowdown and some chop. Of course, we're in a weekend, so as expected, but it opens the door for bears to actually move the price towards the downside. I do think that in general, we are going to be trending towards the upside, which I'll get onto in a second. And I'm not closed-minded to the possibility of us actually just moving a little bit down in towards our 88s and 90k level. So of course, definitely be watching out for that scenario. Looking at the daily exchange volume too, lower lows, lower highs. So we need to start to see this pick up to actually trust the pump. We need to kind of see further price action, further developments in the market. And of course, we have a lot of news, so we don't want to be getting caught off guard. You want to have those levels kind of marked out. And I'm going to be making videos on those days, and I want to be showing you guys what's happening. So make sure to be subscribed and post notifications on. But yeah, let's get on to the next chart. So right before we go on to the next chart, if you're enjoying the analysis and you're agreeing with my opinion, make sure to be checking out that first link down below. The first link down below is for HyroTrader, which is a crypto proprietary trading firm. Now this is the best opportunity in crypto right now, and it's the #1 way to be making the most money for the lowest risk. If you like the sound of that, check this out. HyroTrader allow you to unlock up to 200k, so over 6 figures in capital, to be trading in your buyback account if you can prove that you're a good trader and you're able to retain up to 90% of the profits once you scale your trading account. So let's delve into how to actually get this account. And you can see that if you use the first link down below, you automatically get a discount of 5%. And of course, this will help support the channel. And of course, this will lower the cost for you. So make sure to be using this first link down below for HyroTrader. Now, I have different account sizes. So if you can't really go for the 200k, you can always go for the $100,000 account as well. And yeah, you can see you get a nice discount there using the first link in the description. So once you get your account, you have the option to go for a 1-step or 2-step evaluation. Now the 1-step evaluation just means that you have to make 10% on your account. Then once you actually pass your account, you're on the funded stage where you get your money back. So the challenge fee that you paid for, you're going to get it refunded to you, because you're going to be making HyroTrader money. You're going to be trading on one of their funded accounts. and of course you get to keep up to 90% once you scale your account. So this is an amazing opportunity. And if you go for the two-step evaluation, you see the rules are a lot easier. You have more breathing room because you have more daily drawdown, and you have more of a maximum loss, whereas on the one-step evaluation it's a lot less, of course. So that's the difference. But again, if you're going to go for the two-step, maybe you want a bit more breathing room. The evaluation stage is the same, so you have 10% profit target, and then verification stage is 5%, and then that's where you're going to be getting your challenge feedback, and then that's where you're going to be getting your challenge fee refunded to you, and you're going to be live trading on a funded account. You know, you're going to be making HyroTrader money, and then you get to keep the majority of it. So definitely be taking advantage of this opportunity. As a first link down below to be getting 5% off, and of course to be checking the page out, and the one below as well, you could checking out the reviews. Now again, this was another reason that I said we can experience a rejection on that video. You can see that we came in towards this level over here. It's a key supply zone, and we actually tapped into it and started to move down. But again, I'm not getting bearish at these levels, and I'll tell you guys why. We have a lot of support. We have our yearly open, our monthly open, and of course the weekly open for this week. But let's focus on the yearly, as it's the highest time frame and it's the most significant in my opinion. The yearly open will provide some support if we actually come in towards it, and I do think that's likely we can actually flip this zone and start to move towards our range highs. If not, and we start to deviate it again, you want to see if we can hold this gap, and then we have a 21-week exponential actually starting to trend as support. So I do think that the maximum drawdown on the pullback that we are experiencing, if we were to create a higher low, so you can see lower low, another low, that was your lowest point, that was the bottom, and we had no real higher lows other than, you know, some consolidation. So if we do come in, I think it's going to be very healthy for us to establish that higher low over there and start to create a nice trend, and that's where we can start to move towards the upside. So of course, if we start to come towards the yearly open, watch if we can get a reaction there. If we can't, and it's off of news, and maybe we start to melt down, I do think this is a massive level that won't be kind of broken easily, and the invalidation for this will be 84. So let's round up, it's 85k, so it's around 84,900, but it looks like it's 85k. This breakout candle over here, if you start to see acceptance below that, then of course we need to be reevaluating our whole plan. But of course, I think you want to be watching for this level 90k and your 88s. This is a key region where we can actually experience a bounce if we get a pullback. So you can see here that once we got acceptance above the yearly open in 2024, this is why I said it was significant. It is likely that you start to move towards the upside, since that's a massive psychological turning point. You can see that when the short-term holders realize price actually fits positive, so essentially the price that short-term holders pay for the Bitcoin, if they're underwater, everybody's kind of bearish, but once they go back into profit and it flips positive and we get above that level, it's always led to a rally, because you have to think about it. The psychology would be, okay, I'm in profit now, I'm making money, I'm expecting Bitcoin to go to the moon now. People start flipping from bearish to more bullish. They start to add to their positions. They start to get more confident in the market, and that's where you see a massive push. So of course, that level actually lines up nicely with the yearly open, and it's likely we can actually pump towards the upside with no pullbacks. Now remember that that's a key thing that I want to talk about. In fact, I'll skip to it right now. We could talk about the liquidity. We could look at the global liquidity here, and you can see that when you offset it by 105 days, this was the bottom when I was telling you guys, it's likely we can actually move towards the upside. And a lot of people might have not believed it. They might have been bearish, but I don't know how you could be bearish when the data was pointing towards the chart going upwards. But anyways, you can see that you still have time, because the global liquidity is pointing towards all-time highs. This perfectly predicted the double bottom. If we go to the chart, you can see this is exactly what's played out, double bottom, and we are pumping. So you can see that it has been working. It's been playing out so far. So I'm going to be using this as a general direction, a general guide to where price can be going. And you can see that we had a compression, we had a slowdown, but after just a small pullback, just, you know, shallow pullbacks where people are waiting for lower, it never got met. Essentially, it never happened. We just kept on pumping towards the upside. So anything's possible. Global liquidity across all the regions. You can see all the central banks are massively increasing liquidity, and the US especially, as Bitcoin is denominated in dollars, is actually moving towards the upside. The USMT is pumping, and typically when you look at global liquidity, Bitcoin follows it with a bit of a lag. So you can see we are likely to catch up and start rallying. I'm not going to be fading this, and in the higher time frames, you can see that we're breaking out again. History is exactly repeating. So yeah, we're getting bullish crosses across the board. Things are looking absolutely amazing, and I'm not going to be getting bearish. We can look at crypto liquidity as well. We can see USDC getting minted, so 250 million not too long ago. So just literally this week, not too long ago. And of course, that actually allows more stable coins to actually flow in towards Bitcoin, and of course in towards altcoins. So it's likely that we can actually see that shift, especially if Bitcoin continues to trend towards the upside. Bitcoin hash rate is actually exploding, and typically your price actually follows the hash rate. So this is a massive thing. You know, you can't be ignoring these signals if you're a bear. You have to weigh up both sides. And I'm not biased. People think I'm extra bullish and things. I'm just looking at the data and just showing you guys the levels and things like that. You know, I'm not a bull or a bear. I'm just, you know, showing you guys what's happening. And Bitcoin is always bullish, so naturally I'm gonna be bullish, isn't it? Now, looking at the MACD, you can see that the MACD had a bullish cross, and every time we have this bullish cross, on average, we get a 70 to 80% pump. So it's likely that this is going to be happening, given, you know, we remain bullish. And of course, from this fractal, when I've done it, we're already pumping towards the upside. So that takes us to around 150 in towards 180k. So be watching out. You know, anything can be happening. That may be the area where we can top, but again, we can't just use this as a topping signal to be, you know, guessing. We need to be seeing further confluences, you know, maybe the funding rate. And by the way, the funding rates are extremely low right now. And typically when the funding rates are low, means people are short. When people are short, they're looking for lower prices. If price continues towards the upside, they're forced to buy back. At least the most explosive rallies, as you can see. So in 2023, same environment, choppy. When we started to trend up, people were still short. They had to cover their losses essentially and buy back, and it led to a massive explosion. In 2024 was the same thing. We had a massive move, which actually took us to all-time highs. And right now, I think it's no different. That's exactly what's going to be playing out. So yeah, you know, we're holding a Gaussian channel. That's actually looking quite good. And this is why this is the thumbnail. I think that this is the final leg. This is the next massive pump towards the upside. So I will not be bearish here. You know, we're holding support. We flip this resistance level into a support. How can you not see this? You know, history is exactly repeating. So in my books, you know, I believe in a 4-year cycle. I think we're still going to be going up. And this is typically the year where altcoins actually go massively parabolic. Biggest altcoin by market cap is Ethereum. We're holding this diagonal level of support over here. And of course, we're holding our horizontal, which I perfectly told you guys we were coming into. And I said it's likely we get a bounce. So I want to be seeing a move above 2K. And that's where we can look for Ethereum to move in towards 2,800 using this horizontal mid-range level. So it's likely we can come in towards this level. If you want to be slightly conservative, you can look at this resistance point. So you can look at this 2 lines and you can say that 2.3 is a decent region where you can actually see Ethereum moving towards in the short term. Maybe you get a second retest, but the general direction will be up. So I think accumulating Ethereum anywhere here is massively smart, because if it's going to go all the way to 15K, Ethereum's going to go to 10K or whatever the price target is. Nobody cares where you bought. I think this is a decent region, given, you know, these shorts get squeezed and things start accelerating. And of course, you need to be looking at the Bitcoin dominance, because when this starts to shift towards the downside, you best believe that Ethereum is actually going to go parabolic. You can see that EPTC has a massive triple bottom. You can see that Ethereum against Bitcoin has a massive triple bottom. So I'll not be fading this. On a monthly time frame, you can see we've massively been oversold. And if Ethereum is going to survive, if you believe Ethereum is going to be staying here for the long term, I think this is the place to be, you know, establishing your positions. Everybody previously, before the COVID pump, thought Ethereum was dead. Everybody, this plays out time and time again. People get bearish at the bottom, and that's where you get a massive move. So I still believe in Ethereum. I still believe in the 4-year cycle. So I'm not going to be fading all these signals. So again, this is the place to be, you know, paying attention. So yeah, that'll be it for me. Make sure to be following me on Twitter to be getting these charts early, to be getting charts that I don't have time to cover. You can see this one here is looking very nice. So yeah, just be checking my page. Make sure to be following me with post notifications on so you don't miss an update as well. And yeah, I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. So yeah, have a blessed rest of your day. Peace, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.